You're better at asking.
That salad is I know. I eat everything. I love it. Oh, I love steak. And whiskey, that is my favorite. I love steak.
Why did no men stand for
I'm how
He said, for the love of God, let us out.
I know. I am a med fan. It's not till 8 o'clock.
What's in the Oh, I know.
What time zone are you in? What time does it start? 8 o'clock? Put them on
like 4 to 8. Like, I'll come to the moderator.
All right.
I think we can
Ladies and gentlemen, please take a seat, whoever's still here. Okay, I'm going to, you're not listening. I haven't used this gavel, I don't like to use it. Okay, so don't take it then. Alright, what we're going to do right now is reconvene the September 26, 2016 meeting. Alright, and I know that there are a number of items that were tabled, so I'm going to read those items and ask for a motion to untable those items. And here we go. The first item is item 310, 16, ordinance 1014. Item 311, 16, ordinance 105. Item 312, ordinance 106. Item 313, ordinance 107. Item 314, ordinance 108. Item 315, ordinance 109. Item 316, ordinance 110. Item 317, ordinance 111. Item 318, ordinance 112. Item 319, ordinance 113. And item 320, ordinance 114. The motion to untable. Moved by legislator Dunn, seconded by legislator Nicolai. All right. All those in favor of untabling the items I just called, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. The items are untabled. And now, we've heard testimony on the 26th of September. We also know that these items pertain to several projects at the college. And I believe if there's a need to continue receiving testimony from anyone here, it would be my pleasure to entertain it. So if there are any questions regarding the ordinances that were called, this is the opportunity to do so. Any questions? Yes, Minority Leader.
Thank you. Madam Design Officer, I just wanted to make sure we were clear for the record that the item or the issue in regard to the capital bond ordinance for these items, changing the language so that it is very clear and specific that it can only be used for the college. I believe all the parties, from your side, our side, the administration, the college met, and from what I understand, there was an agreement, at least in principle, that needed to be run back to folks in the administration, but there was agreement, at least from all the other parties, that the language being modified to ensure that it was going to be used strictly for the college was there. However, it sounded, I guess, a few hours later that that was not going to be the case. So it seems like we are in exactly the same point we are in now, which I believe these bond items could be used for any purpose outside of the purpose for the college. So we respectfully request again that this language be changed or modified so that we all want to make sure the college uses the money. I don't understand why, if we all in agreement that we want to see the college use the money, and that's the change that we're looking for in the bond ordinance, I don't see why anybody would reject it. We have the part, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm looking to my counsel, this body has the ability to amend this item to reflect that language. I would say we can do this today and wrap it up. Let's do it by emergency, get the language in and move forward.
Yes, Legislator Mascola.
Let me try and explain what the problem is. All of us on the legislature want to bond this money and this money is to be used for the college. In the 60 years or so that the college has been in existence, this county has never conditioned bond ordinances on certain conditions. You don't condition bonds because they need to be marketable. The more conditions you put on a bond, the less marketable they become. And when you start to condition a bond, you enter into a slippery slope where you'll end up with bonds that are just worthless. The reason we no longer bond by project is not because the county doesn't want to bond by project, but NYFA wants us to not bond by project. They have prohibited us from bonding by project. They make us bond by purpose. In this county, if the minority is concerned that the money bonded by the county for the college's benefit is going to be spent elsewhere, I think that concern is unfounded. We have never done that.
How would you know?
And just let me finish. We have never done that. We have never taken money in one place and used it elsewhere. If there were an unexpended ordinance and the college requested it to be used for another project, we always have the opportunity to amend the ordinances to include additional projects. But there's no reason to put the condition upon the bond as you request. It makes it more difficult to go to market with that bond. It doesn't make it easier.
I respectfully disagree. We don't know for certain that we have bonded millions of dollars, and I don't believe there's ever been any type of audit done by the controller or OMB that identified that money that was bonded with an intent to be spent for the college didn't somehow circle back to some other project. The bottom line is, I think we can, as a body, very well move forward and be able to do this today. I don't see why. If we want to spend $18 million for the college, why don't we just have a bond ordinance that reflects that? I just don't understand the logic between keeping it open so that we can attract more potential buyers. I don't see the rationale. I really don't. We want to see every nickel go to the college. I think the college wants to see every nickel, they can use it. It doesn't make much sense.
Legislator Nicolello.
It doesn't make much sense, as Legislator Muscarella said, was that we've done this for 60 years, and legislatures of both Democrats and Republicans have approved it. Now in 2016, it's become an issue. I don't understand what the issue is. Nobody's rating the money that's been allocated for the college budget, by the college purposes. It's just another issue, another roadblock, another obstacle to the running of this county. There's no purpose to it other than to delay this and potentially jeopardize projects. So if the minority wants to do that, then by all means, that's your right to do it. But to come up with these reasons and to all of a sudden find this issue after 60 years of doing business a certain way, you know, it is what it is. It's another roadblock, another obstruction.
I don't necessarily see it that way. What I see is that to me there is agreement that everybody wants to see this money be spent on the college. If money was spent on various different things outside the college, I think everyone here would feel, a little disrespected and duped. So I think what we're trying to do is make sure that it's ironclad. Look, 60 years ago, Rich, the college wasn't going through its issues in terms of the Middle States accreditation. We want to make sure the college has every resource that it needs in this climate. And I just can't understand. Granted, I wasn't here 60 years ago. I couldn't tell you what those guys were thinking. But I can tell you what we're thinking today. And what we're thinking today is to be wiser and smarter and ensure that this money is protected by going to the right person that we're intentioned for.
Legislator Schaefer.
Have there been situations where there's money that hasn't been spent on the college? Like, is there a record of this happening, where there's been money left over from a bond and it's been spent on other things? Or are we just doing this kind of as a just in case, what if type of thing? Minority Leader?
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry, council was speaking in my ear.
Okay, has there been a problem with extra money from a bond or from some of that money being used for other things? Or are we just doing this to,
Well, I think-
have an additional assurance?
Well, there's a couple different things, and first and foremost, we don't know if it was a case or not a case because we haven't seen an audit that identified how bond proceeds for the college have been spent outside of the college. So we don't know whether or not it's been the case. But then two, and I know you weren't probably privy to this opportunity, we were actually at a leaders meeting, myself, Deputy Presiding Officer Nicolello, Legislator Bino, and Legislator DeRiggi Whitten, where we had heard the $60 million that we bonded for tax certs earlier this year, the same very tax certs that the administration told this legislative body that we were in dire straits, we were jeopardizing the county if we didn't do this bond immediately. I believe I must have received an email or a phone call about bonding, making sure I keep up with the word that I gave to the county executive and to the majority in terms of bonding. So we bonded that $60 million because yes, we do believe in keeping our word. But then to hear just a few short weeks ago that the county has not spent all of the money and do not plan to spend all of the money. And to me, it just seems like a big disconnect between the between the 60 million that you said we were in dire straits for back in March to where we are now in October, and we're not spending the money. So we do feel like there is a game of manipulation that goes on here, and we don't want to support any level of bonding that doesn't go for the intent that it's being specified for. And to me, it just seems like if we're all for the college. I would never ask or never indicate that any of you do not support the college. This is a no-brainer. I mean, this is a no-brainer. I couldn't believe the college. I'm sure they want to make sure that this money's going to come to them.
I don't know if it's necessarily a no-brainer if there is the issue of it not being as marketable. If we put conditions on it, and then if we start conditioning bonds now, aren't we going to want to condition more bonds as we go along? And then what kind of negative impact might that have?
I'm not
That's my
convinced.
concern.
Yes, I understand your current concern. I don't know if that's an issue or not. I mean, as my counsel tells us, we just changed over our process, I believe, Michelle? We changed over our process from Project Pacific to PPU in 2015. So a lot of things have changed. And from that standpoint, I don't see why we would make sure that this purpose is identified. It just seems like to me the administration said, well, the bond lawyer for the administration indicated, let me bring it back, it sounds okay. Then folks in the administration just decided to say no just because of no, maybe because of the climates we're in and the positions that we've taken on bonding and such. Who knows? But the bottom line is that the college is getting caught up in the between this. If we were not being genuine about our position, I would say call our bluff. Put the language in and then call our bluff, because then you would get the bonding or not. But from our standpoint, it just seems to me to be clear that we would benefit to ensure that this money goes directly to the college by adding this language in.
Legislator Nicolello, then I'm going to have to say something.
There was, some of the bond money was not being spent by the administration, but there was a good reason for that, which is that they're held to this NYFA gap. So if they spend some of the bond proceeds, it basically gets counted against the NYFA gap, and it takes away their flexibility. So they explain that fully in the leaders meeting. Number one. Number two, we went from project specific to PPU in 2015 at the instance of NYFA. So our problem is in trying to run this county that we have NYFA on one side restricting us in ways that are, I think, unreasonable. And on the other side, we have the minority throwing up roadblocks. I mean, now it's the college. Last week it was the roads. And for two different reasons too. One was because the contract system is flawed. The other is because, well, I want to make sure the money goes to college. So every meeting, and every time there's a vote, there's a reason to vote against bonding. I don't think it's reasonable, and again, I would urge the members of the minority to vote for this and make sure that these projects for the college go forward.
I just want to repeat, I believe, Legislator Rose? Walker? Legislator Walker. Go ahead.
It's also my understanding that the longer we wait, opportunities that other colleges in the system would be getting monies from the state that we could lose with for Nassau Community. So that again presents, a problem for us, because if we jeopardize that money, then obviously the colleges without certain monies that they can hope to get.
That question was posed to the college on September 26th. Do we run the risk of SUNY, if we don't vote on this sooner than later, do we run the risk of SUNY allocating some of this money that the college is hoping for to other institutions within the state? And the answer to that was yes. So that was one of the reasons why it was deemed to call the meeting today rather than on the 19th. And I have to say that Mr. Legislator Mascarella did say that when we start to tinker with the various ordinances by amending them and putting the language in those ordinances that we wish to put in there, jeopardizes or puts us on a slippery slope with other ordinances that come before us and looking for the same kind of process. So I think we have to think very seriously, are we doing the college any good by denying them this bonding that is put before us, the 11 bond ordinances that were put before us, and the fact that the administration, I believe there was a meeting on September 28th or 27th, I don't recall which day it was, regarding the language of the bond ordinances. And it was agreed at that particular time. And the council did advise both officers that the administration does not want to go down this slippery slope and does not want to deviate from the current PPU. That is really the mission for the bonding policy that has been put forth to this county by NACO. Okay, legislative comment.
It's as if you think that there's going to be extra money. The matching funds that DASNY is doing, the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York, they have to spend every cent to get the matching funds from the State of New York. So it's not like there's going to be, oodles of money left over, let's spend it on the jail, or let's spend it. That's not the case. They stood here and told us that they're going to get matching funds from the State of New York, and it's based on us passing it and them getting the money to spend. So it's just unnecessary.
It's necessary. It's necessary. I don't doubt that they're going to get matching funds for what they expend. If they expend 16 million of the 18, they'll get matching funds for that. But the 2 million, that could end up into the wilderness.
But then they'll only get 16. If they only spend 16, they'll only get 16.
But Dennis, our issue is not the college. We believe the college will do what they need to do, and they would do it proficiently. Our issue is the balance that they do not use. That's the issue. So let me ask you this, because we've actually, I was listening to Legislator Mascarella. So we pulled up item 413-16, and we were talking about the marketability of bonds. Well, I found one in this item where we want a bond for the labor cost. This was something that came up at the last meeting. In this actual bond ordinance, it says such proceeds may only be used to pay for county labor performing capital work, the associated material for county labor, supplemental staffing, and personal service agreements. This sounds pretty specific to me. Doesn't sound open-ended. Doesn't hurt any marketability to me. I mean, this to me sounds more close-ended than what we're talking about today for the college. No. See, you're missing the point. The argument that Legislator Mascarella made was that we want to keep things open-ended because we want to be able to have the marketability of the bonds. It doesn't get more closed than this one. This is item 413-16. It was actually filed today, or filed on the 30th. And the language, again, is very clear. And council has just made me aware that there are at least 8 bonds that are like this. It's very clear. There is no other way you can spell it out that it's paying for county labor performing capital work. It doesn't, you can't drill down any more than that.
May I ask a question of
Yes,
Eric Norton, who's here? We were just talking about the bonding ordinance for with respect to labor, and there's language in there limiting it to labor. Is that something that's unique to that particular bond?
Yes, obviously what's happened this year is that we're trying to continue the projects and use the county workforce to get some of the work done. And unless we do this way, we're going to have to eat the costs for the county force that's trying to get these projects completed because of the other delays.
But does that have to be built into the ordinance itself, or are you doing one with respect to labor costs?
I think our intent was that we felt that this would be something that could please the majority of this body. That would not be our normal preference, but that's what we did.
It's not the preference, but it's the college. So it's that we don't want to do it. I understand.
But just respect to the college, I think it has to be clear, as has been stated, NYPA felt that our old process was very inefficient, and they stated to us, you need to find a better way to do this. And that's how we came up with the PPU language. And we hope that we continue to do it this way because NYPA has said to us, this is a good improvement because otherwise you're having projects just linger, sit there, and it doesn't make sense the way that we were doing it.
So it's a very different type of bond.
Yes.
The one for the college is open to what they're going to spend it on. It's not like specific to labor.
Correct.
Got it.
In other words, PPU is project.
Let's keep it very, very, let's just spell it out for what it is. We started out this argument that we weren't able to do it because we would hurt ourselves in the bond market by keeping it less open and more closed. I just identified a bond ordinance, which I can go find 7 more that my counsel's already telling me. But I just found a bond ordinance that very clearly is very specific and very closed-ended. So that argument goes out the window.
But it's for a different purpose. It's specific for that purpose, but the college bond is not for one purpose.
I agree with you. Different purpose, college versus capital work for labor. But the essence of the argument that Legislator Muscarella was making wasn't about college bonds. It was about making sure we keep things open. Now, this to me is far from open. This is very closed. This is very specific.
The one you're talking about, I agree.
Aren't they all specific to the project?
No, the college is different. The bond ordinances that are here before the college are not. I'm sorry? No, that's something different. What I'm using is an example of another bond ordinance that is very specific and very closed, which this seems to be, it cannot be used on anything else other than labor performing capital work. The college bond ordinance that's here before us today is not this closed. And that's the argument that I'm making today, that if this was good enough to go to the bond market and not hurt our marketability, then put in the provisions that we're asking for the college shouldn't be either.
Well, do we have the same concerns with it going to the bond market, the one that we specified? I mean, I don't know. I don't know about bonds.
It's the same market.
Right, I get that, but maybe this is not the type of bond that's necessarily going to go to market or be marketable
same bond.
I don't know.
Same bond.
I mean, I would just say that, the last year or so we've put a lot of restrictions on that our bond council has questioned. They didn't understand the rationale for it. You go back to earlier this year when we did a refunding, we were told that you had to restrict the savings, and then later people were asking us, could you spend money somewhere else? But we didn't have that ability to do that because others made us restricted. So not a good idea. In the past we've had to restrict the way we use term pay, and then that just caused us to eat more money in the operating budget. So the more that we restrict, you're hurting the county. And just remember, when we do the bonding for the college, that's the county's debt service you're talking about. So if the county thinks it's in its best interest to have flexibility, I think you should take our recommendation.
Let me just ask something else then. So if we authorize $18 billion of the bonding for the college, and they only spent 16. What's the concern is that somehow the county's going to use the additional $2 million for countywide projects? Is that the concern?
Or they use all of it.
Oh, come on. Come on. County Nassau's going to raid the colleges.
I don't believe that to be the case, I'm being fair. I don't believe that to be the case, but what I will say is the way the ordinance is written, there is no protection for the college, none.
I think, you can raise your issues, but
I mean, that's the perfect question, that's actually a perfect question for Mr.
Come on, I'm gonna ask, do we have any indication that this has happened to the college before? We have no record of this.
We don't have any indication that it's happened before, nor do we have any indication that it could not happen in the future.
Well, guess what? Over 20 years that we've been sitting out this body, I think we certainly have the respect for the college to do what is right for the college and abide by the law.
No, but let's just be fair. I mean, look, 10 days ago. No.
It's a roadblock, come on.
No, we're not, come on. I think everybody is being very civil. There's no yelling. We're having a nice debate. I wish they were all this way. Let me just say this to you. I mean, last 10 days ago, Mr. Chalmers did a report. I thank him for that report. We all identified the issue. We realized that we wanted to be able to hone in and to make sure the bond ordinance reflect the college only. And then all the groups met. I don't understand then why did we table if there was no consideration to actually change the ordinance to reflect that it be spent and
No, to
protect the
give
college?
you the courtesy of having more time to vet this whole item of these bond orders.
So the courtesy,
And there were to ask questions of Mr. Chalmers, and I said to Mr. Chalmers if he would have enough time to come weigh in on this by
the courtesy was to ask questions, but if we see any concerns, we're not going to change them. Because that's kind of what it was. So here we are. So we voiced concerns, things that we wanted to get corrected to make sure the college is protected.
But I mean, from our perspective, you can voice concerns that we have to figure out from our perspective whether they're reasonable. And I can tell you that I believe they're reasonable. And there's 11 of us up here that think that your position is not reasonable.
But Rich, it is
so we
reasonable.
can't adopt your position.
Rich, tell me why it's not reasonable.
Because it's just
it doesn't hurt marketability. We can throw that out to the wayside. That doesn't mean anything.
It never happened.
So it's not reasonable because it never happened?
And realistically, is the county executive going to raid the bonding proceeds that have been allocated or approved for the college and alienate that entire constituency of this county? That person be out of his mind. So is that ever going to happen? No, in my opinion. So why would I accede to your requests if I don't think you're concerned?
So Rich, I'm really trying hard. So there's nothing legal or nothing that's going to hurt us in the bond market on why you guys don't want to put the language in. It's because it never happened before in 60 years, and it's because you don't think he's going to alienate the college in that way. Well, I got to tell you, I mean, a lot of stuff has happened over this course of the last couple of years. To me, we all want to see the college be protected. As I said before, we've all seen what the college has been going through. To me, I want to see every nickel of this $18 million go through. I don't see why we can't change this language. There's not been one thing anyone up here has identified as a legal reason why we cannot change this today. No one has done that.
Really?
No other comment, no public comment. I'm going to call the question. All those in favor of the 11 bond ordinances that were put into the record, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
We got 6 nays. Abstention is a no vote. You realize that?
You can take it any
Okay, guess what? The bond ordinance is fair. All right, now, I'm going to call for a motion to reconsider. Legislator Gaylord, motion to reconsider, seconded by Legislator Rhodes. All those in favor of reconsidering the vote that was just taken, signify by saying aye. Aye. Now, guess what? Now, any of those who are opposed to the reconsideration of the The vote that was taken, signify by saying nay. Okay? All right, guess what? Now I'm going to ask for a motion to table. Motion to table, legislator Dunn, seconded by legislator Roach. The item is tabled to the 19th of October. And hopefully,
If I may, I would implore everyone to meet again, because as I said before, and I will say it again, we are ready to do this, and I have not heard one legal argument presented to us tonight on why we cannot change this language, other than it's never been done this way in 60
I
years.
just said, I didn't just say the table with the, okay? All right, we had a motion to table, and all those in favor of tabling it, I signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Okay, the items are tabled. And now we will recess this meeting until the 19th of October. And if there is a sooner date, we will do it. Obviously, we're running very short on scheduling items in the legislature, primarily due to the fact that we have budget hearings. And we're supposed to have one today, and we're supposed to have one on the 13th. And God only knows how long we're going to be here. And so, Ms. Murray, it is now tabled until the next meeting. It could be October 19th, maybe even sooner. But we can reconvene this at any time. All right? I thank you, and bring it back, and hopefully it'll be understood why we did this. Okay.
Jump in. Let's just keep going. 6:45. He has a math test tomorrow. I gotta understand. Probably gonna be late.
All right, it's now 6:45. I know there are people from the departments who are here for the budget hearing. I really do think we need a little break. I've been sitting in this chair since 1 o'clock, so I think it's a little, I think it's okay. If we can just don't complain. So I'm going to ask for your indulgence for at least 20 minutes, okay? And hopefully we can do this as fast as we can. I'm really sorry that, you know what, maybe you can get a cup of coffee or something somewhere. Okay, those of you who are waiting for, I know we don't have a coffee machine here.
Yeah.